Peace, my name is Haven Bullets, and today I gotta do this video because I stumbled across a YouTuber named, I think, Masaman, and he made this video about Pan Africanism. And I didn't like the video. I felt there was a lot of things wrong with the video. I felt the video was very disrespectful, and I felt it was necessary for me to address some of the things that were said in this video. Before I do that, I would like to address Masaman himself, because I felt that he made this video knowing that it would be seen as disrespectful and knowing that it would be seen as wrong. So he magically, for no reason, apparently, the only reason I could think of, said that he's 1/4 black, like to try to hide behind that and use it as a shield. Like, don't worry, I am saying some things that could be construed as disrespectful or wrong or bad, but trust me, I'm 1/4 black, so I couldn't be speaking against the best interests of black people or in any way disrespectful to anything that has to do with black people. And to that I would say, first, I'm pretty sure you weren't raised around black people. You don't see yourself as black. If you're really 1/4 black, which I have not seen any proof of that, and I don't believe, that means you would have had one black grandparent that you probably didn't meet, probably didn't know, probably didn't even hang around like that. Probably is already deceased, hopefully not. And you don't intend to be around black people. So you don't get to use the I took a DNA test and I found out I'm 1/4 black, or one of my grandparents is black, as an excuse that you get to hide behind. Again, you don't see yourself as black. You would not be confused for a black person in any way, shape, or form. So you don't get to do that. And I would also like to say that even if it was true that you do have 1/4 black blood, the people who betrayed Denmark Vesey had black blood. The people who betrayed Frank Hampton also have black blood. So this notion that you have black blood is somehow gives you a pass for what you're saying, it doesn't. Well, now let me deal with the video. The first issue with this video, as you can see, it says, what if Sub-Saharan Africa became a single country? Why are you dividing? Pan-Africanism is about the African continent. Why are you dividing out North Africa or pieces of North Africa from the rest of Africa? You fail right then and there. That's disrespect right then and there. Why are you dividing the continent like that? Because what, there are Arabs in the north or something like that? And obviously no Arab would get behind any type of Pan-Africanist anything. They wouldn't join anything that has to do with quote-unquote Pan-Africanism of any form of shape, which is not true. And I see that you have a picture of a Kwame Nkrumah, who was a Pan-Africanist, who learned his Pan-Africanism in America. Well, you forgot about His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie, who also learned his Pan-Africanism from America. And you forgot to mention his organization, the Organization of African Unity, which was a Pan-Africanist organization, which North Africans, your Arabs that you excluded out, joined. Every country, including Morocco. The second summit, of the Organization of African Unity took place in Cairo, Egypt. The first one was in Abbottabad, Ethiopia, because again, it was founded by His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie. And the second summit was in Cairo, Egypt. You forgot to mention that. So this notion that some type of Pan-Africanist movement created by black Africans would never be joined by Arabs is ridiculous on its face. And let's say, for example, today that was the case, well, they can leave, because they would have to, any type of unity of the continent would include the whole continent, and they could either respect it or accept it, but they can't check it. And if they tried to, they would have to leave, because again, the Arab is an invader. Just like the whites in the south are invaders, the Arabs in the north are invaders. So the idea that we're going to just cede a fifth of the continent because a group of invaders don't want to be a part of something that the indigenous original people of the continent want to do is ridiculous. On its face, that's ridiculous. You said Pan Africanism was ridiculous, but that's ridiculous. Especially being that there are still tens of millions of indigenous blacks living in North Africa who are facing discrimination to this day from Arabs and wannabe Arabs. The notion that you would have a quote-unquote united Sub-Saharan Africa, and they'd be like, well, we're Pan-Africanists and we united with Sub-Saharan Africa, but North Africa is off limits because a white man drew an invisible line saying North Africa has nothing to do with Sub-Saharan Africa, and there's Arabs in the North who don't want anything to do with us. So black people in the North, I'm sorry, y'all just gonna have to suffer and deal with what y'all dealing with. We have no say over that. And it was funny to me also in this video when you were talking about, well, if Sub-Saharan Africa did become one country, what about the 10 million Arabs living in Sub-Saharan Africa? What do they get a say in? What about them? But no word about the tens of millions of blacks living in North Africa. That was a problem. The second thing wrong with this video, the concept that Sub-Saharan Africa, which is a technical term for Black Africa, would unite into a single country, but that union, also including blacks from the diaspora, is somehow ridiculous. Which doesn't make any sense to me. Like, how is that ridiculous? If Africa will unite along racial lines of blackness, the idea that other blacks are not invited because they're not living on the physical continent is ridiculous. Especially when Pan-Africanism came, especially that type of Pan-Africanism, was invented in the Americas. And the two biggest proponents of it on the continent were Kwame Nkrumah and His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie, which got their Pan-Africanism from America. Especially when Ghana to this day allows for black refugees from all over the world. They even accept Melanesians from Papa who want their own country, who are being oppressed by the Javanese who are in charge of the Indonesian government. Like what is this? And also, you made it seem like people, including Brazil in that, is somehow, that's ridiculous and stupid. Like, Brazil, a black country? Where are they getting this from? That's wholly ridiculous. When everybody knows Brazil is the second blackest country in the world behind Nigeria. So the idea that the second blackest country in the world wouldn't be included in Pan-Africanism, especially if we uniting along racial lines, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Like, you had it confused. You were ridiculous in what you were saying, not the people who talk about the unification of all blacks, and they include Brazil. And you made it seem like Brazil is some white country, which that notion is ridiculous on its face. Like, now I see why you made it your business to say I have 1/4 black blood, because you knew people were going to say something about this video. You knew it. So you just said that as some type of shield, to try to use that as some type of shield for yourself. I saying these ridiculous things, you just needed it as a shield. I'm convinced now. The third issue I have with this video, you made it seem like there can never be a united Sub-Saharan Africa because there's so many ethnic and linguistic and cultural differences. How would a country like that even work? When you forgot to mention that there are countries like that already work, like China, like India. And there are political unions like that that work also, like the European Union. Like this is not some new radical concept that never been done before. But you were making it seem like this is impossible for it to work in Africa because you did mention the European Union and ASEAN. But somehow, black people uniting for the betterment of black people is somehow some ridiculous notion that how would that even work? And second, I didn't hear you saying anything or complaining about this forced Pan-Africanism on black people, because all these African countries are virtually fake. And you had different groups of black people who are culturally, linguistically, tribally, and ethnically different from each other, being forced to live with each other and embrace a new identity. But that was done to them, forced upon them by Europeans. I didn't see you complaining or saying that can't work, this need to be broken up. But you were complaining about black people coming together on their own accord for their empowerment and their betterment. You were complaining about that. But you did say one type of Pan-Africanism could work, and that was the East African Community, which is now known as the East African Federation, which will now be function as an East African Confederation, but they'll probably still call it the East African Federation, which is 6 countries, which will, the 6 countries are Uganda, Burundi, Rwanda, Tanzania, Kenya, and South Sudan, and it will probably be expanded to include Ethiopia. You were okay with that Pan-Africanism. But why were you okay with that Pan-Africanism? Because that Pan-Africanism is being done at the behest of somebody else. That's right. That Pan-Africanism is being pushed by the Chinese because it's easier for them to do business and deal with one political entity instead of 6 different political entities. This is for their empowerment, so it can make them so it can be easier for them to move goods and services around Africa. And everybody knows, and everybody can see that this is just phase 1 in creating a United States of Africa, as this article used the term United States of Africa. But some type of Pan-African, greater Pan-Africanist union in Africa for their empowerment, for their betterment. See, you were okay with blacks coming together so that they can be better and more easily ruled by the Chinese. But they want to come together to rule themselves. That don't make any sense to you. It just doesn't make any sense to you. It just doesn't. I see that now. It doesn't make any sense for you. Black people coming together to rule themselves is dumb. But black people coming together so somebody else can rule them, that's smart. That's good. The fourth and final point of this video, you said that if Africa was to unite, they should use a Russian model, which is not a good model, or a Chinese model, which is an even worse model. If Africa was to unite, they should use, and they had to use another country as a blueprint, they should use the United States of America. That would be the best model. Germany would probably be the second best model, or India, the way it became a country, would probably be the third best model. Now on to you, because I see you have done multiple videos about black people, and I clicked on one with the different races of Africa, and even in the description box I see you having to defend yourself against charges of you making anti-black videos, and you again bringing up the 1/4 black blood thing. And I can see why people are saying that, because these people you're saying are different races are not different races. These are different ethnic groups. They're all black. And you know the difference between ethnicity and race. That's why when you did this video, you said the different ethnic groups of China. Why are you doing the different ethnic groups of China video, but then you're going to do the different races of Africa video and just show a bunch of black people with just different phenotypes? That makes no sense. And I'm seeing that you have multiple videos about Africa and about black people. Even this video I seen right here that I didn't even watch, and I dare not watch, about the so-called Bantu expansion. Because I've been seeing a lot of fake information about the Bantu expansion lately, and I see that this video has gone viral. So I'm pretty sure it came from this video. Like, you need to get your act together. And I'm going to end this video right here. Like, share, subscribe, drop me a comment, tell me what you think. Make sure you drop me a comment. If you watch this whole video, drop me a comment. Please. Subscribe to this channel, hit that bell. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. The link will be in the description box to this video so you can go watch it for yourself if you don't believe me. And on that note, family, peace.